Hi everyone. I've been interested in religion since I was in high school. I had a friend who had taken his religion very seriously, and we would discuss religious matters when we were walking back and forth from school or when we were in the car and driving down to Toronto for a computer conference. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and he would give me some of his magazines and invite me to the Bible studies because he knew I was interested in that sort of thing. I even went to one of those Bible studies. But the most important thing he did for me, and something that actually shaped a lot of how I approach religion, was he gave me his reasoning from the scriptures book. Now, it wasn't actually a book that talked about reasoning from the scriptures. It basically explained how to explain the scriptures from the Jehovah's Witness perspective. Basically, it was a training manual for Jehovah's Witnesses when they go door to door, generally are witnessing to people. It says, if someone says such and such, try saying this, or maybe try saying that. I was able to have entire debates on my own just with that book. And the most important thing was I had references both to Bible verses that were bolstering their sides of the debate and other sources. And it was a very interesting read, and it really helped to illuminate the Jehovah's Witness perspective. For many issues, I actually learned the Jehovah's Witness position first before learning what most mainstream Christians believe. And then that led to an interesting perspective shift. So it's important to note that I didn't just stop my research with the Jehovah's Witness or anyone's interpretations or claims. I started my research with them. And it helped me have a very critical perspective on religious claims. Which set is right? There are 32,000 Christian sets alone, never mind all the other religions. And everyone has a blind spot. If you grow up believing in certain things, there are certain claims you never think about as being something you have to defend or something that someone else would find strange. If you want to learn what's wrong with your religion, read what the critics are saying about it. If you're just a regular mainstream Christian, read what the Jehovah's Witnesses say and try to defend against it. If you're Catholic, read what the Protestants say and vice versa. If you're a Christian, the Muslims have some very interesting critiques about the interpretations of the Bible given the social or linguistic time period or language at the time. So it's a very interesting way to learn about your own position by reading the people who criticize it. Because again, everyone has these blind spots, and even intelligent people don't sometimes realize something they've taken for granted is a very interesting question. Their appeals to history in the Jehovah's Witness literature really shaped my approach to religious discussion. They talk about the original language and what the original authors meant. And although I don't think they were right about everything, they often would bring in scholarly sources to bolster their claims. And that approach really struck it with me. The authors who wrote the different books of the Bible didn't believe the same things that we believe, didn't have the same assumptions as the assumptions that we have. And so when the Jehovah's Witnesses were criticizing how many Christians interpret the Bible, sometimes they were dead on. My approach has been very much shaped by that. And I haven't stopped hanging out with or debating with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Although my friend grew up and moved a couple hours away, not too long ago, a couple years ago, some Jehovah's Witnesses came knocking at my door, as they sometimes do. And after spending a while sitting on the front porch discussing religious matters with them, we eventually started scheduling meetings. They would come over, or I would go over to their place. Food would be laid out, Bibles would be opened up. I would challenge some of their beliefs. They would defend as best as they could. And I had the wisdom to understand and appreciate the fact that just because someone can't respond to a claim that you make or a challenge that you issue right there and right then doesn't mean that you've won or that your challenge is any good. Sometimes they would come back the next meeting and they'd say, well, I did a little research on that question you asked and I found these things out. It was very enlightening for me to have them do extra research to respond to my challenge, and it was very helpful for them to understand more of their faith and to figure out how to defend it even better. And that's something that didn't even stop there. I recently moved to a new neighborhood, and there's a Church of Latter-day Saints just around the corner from me. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the official name of the Mormon Church, which is not actually the name of that church. And two separate groups of their missionaries, the young boys who go around with little name tags, have come over on multiple occasions, and we've discussed the perspective of the Mormons and what they believe and how it differs from mainstream Christianity. This is going to be the first in a series of videos talking about the path, the journey I've taken in order to understand religion, especially the Bible, as I currently do. You should have noticed, compared to my earlier videos, the sound should be much better. And I'm taking a little bit of a different approach than I did in some of my earlier videos. If you have any thoughts or questions, leave a comment. Thanks for watching, everyone, and you'll see me next time.